And now there's a lot of people that have been waiting patiently for a long time for item 6.01 to tell us about the wonderful new International Student and Family Welcome Center. So please come up, and thank y'all for being so patient. We're looking forward to hearing about it. Y'all. Yes, y'all.
Good evening, President Hummer, Vice President Gilliland, members of the board, and Dr. Orlado. I'm Carol Ann McCurdy, Director of Partnerships, Development, and Marketing. Anne Arundel County Public Schools is home to families who have lived in our county for generations, as well as families who have only recently arrived to the United States. The International Student and Family Welcome Center, known as the IWC, is the first place that many of our families arriving from other countries come to learn about our school system. In recent years, AACPS has experienced an increase in the number of international students registering to attend school. This school year is no exception, and with the recent natural disasters, in places like Mexico and the Caribbean, we are seeing families facing extraordinary circumstances relocate to our county. Our international families have traveled from all over the world, and our IWC was established to provide them with the support and information needed to help them enroll their students in school. This past spring, the International Welcome Center became a part of our School and Family Partnerships Office. Teresa Tudor, Senior Manager for School and Family Partnerships, along with our colleagues, Gracie Williams and Gaston Gamez, will share information about the center and how it serves our students and families.
The International Student and Family Welcome Center, or the IWC for short, has gone through a major transition this year. It started with a name change to better reflect the purpose as well as the spirit of the office. This is the place our international students and their families encounter their first experience with Anne Arundel County Public Schools. We want our students and their family members to feel welcome and leave the IWC with all the information they will need to have a successful start in their new school and country. The IWC offices were moved from 3 portable classrooms behind Annapolis Middle School to a suite of offices at the Phoenix Academy. The new location brings all the staff together in one place and allows families to get all the services they need for their children, from testing to school counseling, and the opportunity to meet with a social worker, PPW, or family involvement specialist based on their particular needs or concerns. This move has not only provided a much more welcome and comfortable location for our families, but it has allowed staff to coordinate their efforts and streamline their processes to be as efficient and effective as possible. We wanted you to see the IWC in action, and we have a short video that captures some of the work that takes place there. All international families who are entering their students in a school for the first time in the United States will visit our International Student and Family Welcome Center.
I went to the International Welcome Center about 10 years ago when I decided to move from Puerto Rico with my children who were in 2nd, 5th, and 7th grade. I called the school to enroll them thinking that was the first step, and they referred me to the international office. I was a little confused as to why I would need to take my kids to an international office, but all apprehensions changed as soon as I got there.
Once they arrive, they are greeted by a staff member who can speak to them in their native language and review all the documents. While the parents or guardians are filling out the necessary documents, students are tested to ensure they are placed in the most appropriate grades and courses.
They took my kids, they tested them, placed them in academically appropriate classes, and they started school. It was really a wow experience that first time.
All families have the opportunity to meet with a family involvement specialist and view a video in their native language that introduces them to Anne Arundel County Public Schools and what expectations there are for the families to be involved in their students' education. This also allows the families to ask any questions they may have at that time. The school counselor at the International Welcome Center will review high school students' transcripts to ensure that the students receive credit for the courses they have taken in their home country and make sure they are placed in appropriate classes at their new school. If necessary, our pupil personnel worker will visit homes to verify residence, and this is done right away to make sure our students are enrolled in classes as soon as possible. The Newcomer Center at Annapolis High School is for high school students with interrupted education. The social worker and school counselor from the International Welcome Center conduct small group sessions with the students to ensure they are getting social and emotional support to accompany their customized academic schedule. The International Welcome Center also works very closely with Joe Hudson, the Hispanic liaison from the Annapolis Police Department.
It's important that the Annapolis Police partner with the Anne Arundel County Schools because of the demographics that we work in, that is the Latino population. A lot of them don't understand the culture here in the United States or the school system, and so we combine our forces together to teach them what's culturally acceptable here in the United States and try to further their education and their family life as well.
The bilingual facilitators work with families when they get to the school to ensure a smooth enrollment process and to give the families that personal connection that is vital to a successful transition from one country to another.
La experiencia con el enlace bilingüe fue muy bonita porque ella me trató muy bien y me dijo que no me preocupara de nada porque todo iba a cambiar si yo ponía mi parte.
The main purpose of the International Student and Family Welcome Center was really to make sure when families come in from a different country, they feel very welcome in Anne Arundel County Public Schools and they get all the services they need in one place. We want them to feel at home the moment they walk through the door.
The second time, fast forward maybe 2 years ago, where my oldest daughter needed to put her daughters in school. Again, they were also moving from Puerto Rico, so I was like, I'm good at this. I know it's going to go on. But yet again, they wowed me again. This time, the social services and the office came Miss Costa, I believe her name is. Isla? Caribe. Okay, so fast forward a couple years, Miss Caribe came to enroll my kids, but she did that at our house. So she came and we had the intention of enrolling my granddaughter in 2nd grade, and I just mentioned to her that my youngest granddaughter wasn't speaking. So through the international office, my youngest granddaughter was able to even get speech therapy classes, integrated in a little social group that Gaston leads in the libraries, and she made little friends and started talking, and she went straight into preschool. She's a totally different girl. And it all started at that international office.
Me siento feliz.
I feel very happy and thankful to God because I never expected in this country that my daughters would have the opportunity that they have.
Good evening. My name is Graciela Williams, and I am the social worker at the International Student and Family Welcome Center. My colleagues and I work closely together to ensure that families who enter our office are welcomed and are able to quickly enroll their incoming student within our school district. When families enter our office, they are immediately greeted by Jessica Angulo, our clerk, who is a familiar voice to many families. Many times, she is the point of contact when families call our office to set up an initial registration appointment. She ensures that families are able to get a registration appointment within 24 hours of calling our office, that families are aware of our county's registration requirements, and that they bring the necessary documents so that our 2 registrars are able to complete the registration as necessary. Our registrars, Yvette Poole and Rita Vasquez, are well-versed in assisting families who enroll at the elementary, middle, and high school level. They make it a point to become familiar with each family that they serve in order to provide a thorough registration for each family that enters our office. This is done by having complete knowledge of each individual school policies, such as uniforms, lunch schedules, and start and finish times. Families enrolling high school students also meet individually with our counselor, Taina Compagnet, who conducts transcript evaluations for our international high school students to ensure that students are being placed in appropriate grade levels and that they receive full credit for courses conducted outside of the United States. On our staff, we also have a family involvement specialist, Monica Lopez, who works closely with school educators and bilingual facilitators to ensure that parents are feeling welcomed and supported at each individual school. She is actively involved in creating and maintaining parent outreach programs around our county. We also have a pupil personnel worker on our team, Donna Caribe, who works closely with families who fall under certain categories when enrolling, such as hardships, homelessness, and other special circumstances. She ensures that they receive the necessary support through our office and that it continues when they complete the enrollment at their home school. Finally, in my role as the social worker, I have the opportunity to assist international students and families as they transition into their home schools after initially registering in our office and who have expressed a need or concern that should be addressed at the school level. As we continue to work with the many newcomer and international students and their families, we are encouraged by the amount of support and engagement from schools and the board as we can continue to offer these students and their families the necessary tools to equip them to be successful within our school system.
Good evening. I am Gaston Gamez, ELL Family and Community Outreach Program Manager. I manage all 46 ELL parent programs offered in our schools throughout the school year. In addition, I have the honor to lead a team of bilingual facilitators composed of 18 positions. This hardworking team speaks 11 languages and serves as a communication bridge between our 127 schools and our families. Our team of bilingual facilitators pride themselves on providing outstanding support and services to our schools and our families. Our team works hand in hand with the staff of the International Student and Family Welcome Center. Before family leave the center, the IWC personnel notifies a bilingual facilitator who supports the school where the student will be enrolled. Our team contacts the family to set up an enrollment appointment to ensure the family has someone who speaks their language stays with them during the entire process. This is an excellent opportunity for our team to get to know the new international student and their families and to make sure the family feels supported during the entire school year. Our team is always available, we are always available, to answer questions, discuss challenges, and assist the family as they acclimate to a new school and to a new country. Some of the day-to-day duties include community outreach, providing access and equity for our international students and families, explaining the school programs, policies, and procedures, providing guidance with emergency situations including homelessness, health crisis, and other community resources, translating school-based documents, and interpreting at parent-teacher conferences as needed. Also, we provide professional development to our educators and school staff in cultural sensitivity, working with international families, and how to request and utilize interpretation and translation services. Thank you for allowing me to speak to you tonight.
So it's important to note that the services provided by the IWC and our ELL family and community outreach efforts are really only part of the story. The education and support provided to our students and their families continues at their schools through the ESOL programs under curriculum and instruction and with student support services. Our IWC staff and bilingual facilitators communicate and collaborate regularly with our colleagues from around the school system to ensure that our international students and families are able to access the resources they need and are aware of their educational opportunities. Thank you. We'll be happy to respond to your questions.
Mr. Gilliland.
Thank you, Madam President. I know it's getting late. I pushed my button, and Mrs. Nally said, "I'm going to kill you." And I said, you've already replaced Mrs. Burge. So I said that out loud. I just want to first say thank you Muchas gracias. Thank you for this. Senora Sasso has been teaching me a little bit. So. My question, again, I think this is phenomenal. One is a request, if I can, both to President Hummer and Dr. Arlotto, and that is that I think this in a summary format ought to be included in our legislative breakfast, because I think we're getting ready to enter into good old budget season, and I think our friends in the delegation, as well as the county level, ought to know more about this and the significance and the value and so forth. So that was that point. My second point is a question specifically about mobile access. If there's some sort of mobile outreach, or whether that occurs now or potentially in the future. And my reason for it is a selfish question, in particular for North County. For people who may not be able to get to Annapolis to visit the IWC because of the hardships, and certainly you've mentioned that and referenced it in the video appropriately, that we're doing a lot to help people who are in situations where transportation may be an issue and so forth. So are all of these resources available to someone, say, in Brooklyn Park?
If transportation is an issue and the family cannot come to Annapolis, we do go to the location where they are. We will go. We're certainly mobile. We're also trying to automate a lot of our practices. So we're looking at some of Adobe Connect and different things where we can actually do things remotely as well. We're looking at lots of different ways to improve our services.
As Ms. Tudor shared earlier, one of the things we want to do is really provide a welcoming environment. And so our goal is, if an international family walks into a school in the North County area, within a few minutes, somebody is on a computer screen or on a phone talking to them in their native language and sharing with them, the experience they're about to have.
Mr. Grannon.
Thank you. I share Mr. Gilliland's sentiments. It's wonderful work that you all are doing. Very, very nice presentation. So thank you for that. One question, is participation mandatory or is it optional?
No, if you are first time coming into a school in the United States and have not come through a WIDA state, you must come to the International Center. And the importance of that is the testing. We need to have people who test the students to place them. School staff are not necessarily trained in that, but our staff at the International Welcome Center are trained in testing the students. They're testing for their language ability. They're testing to see where they're going to be placed if they need ESOL services. And then, of course, at the high school level, it's really important because they're assessing what classes they've taken in other countries, how that translates to our classes in this county, and then where they need to be placed. So they must come through us. If you have been to another state and you were there for a while, or you were another county, then you probably can just go to the school. There are some exceptions to that, but typically these are first-time parents here.
And the thing that made me think of this was the testimonial at the start of the video. I'm sure her experience was completely positive, but are there any sensitivities at all to requiring people from Puerto Rico, which is part of the United States, to go through?
That has been such a big conversation this week.
An international.
We actually have met with student services, with our new director of student services, with our personnel people this week, because the International Welcome Center has seen a lot more families within the last couple weeks, because you have to understand the families have not been able to get out, or they have been in shelters, places where they haven't been able to get out. So they're just leaving the Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico now. So they're just coming in the last week, and more are going to be here. So right now we're dealing with that. So some people are under this saying, well, they're a territory, shouldn't they go to the schools? But many times their language is still Spanish that they're speaking at home. So we still need to assess their language ability and where they need to be placed in ESOL. Plus, these families are coming with many, many needs. So the very best place for them to go is the International Welcome Center, where we're going to wrap around services for them and say, this is what we can provide for you. Let us connect you to this. We know you have no school supplies, but hey, guess what? We have them all right here. Here's a backpack with all the school supplies you need. Here is where you need this information. Let us make this appointment for you. So they're really holding the family's hand. And so we're not doing this to make it harder for the family. We're really doing this to provide them all the services they need. And we had a family that from Puerto Rico this week, and one of the family members really did not want to come. But I think once he was there, he realized that they were his nieces, got so many more services that he was appreciative that they had actually gone to the center.
Yeah, maybe this goes without saying to such caring and, professional, people like you, but maybe even just that sentence, we understand you're U.S. citizens, but this is a resource that we offer to all people that are moving from, outside of the 50 U.S. states, something like that. So
and what Student Services has done is just to back up this, they've sent some emails out, again, to registrars, school counselors, and PPWs, just reiterating that it's always been that Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands have come through the International Welcome Center. But because we know we're seeing a lot of people, we're going to see even more, just reminding them that we are going through the International Welcome Center and why. So those emails I've been copied on in the last several days. And I think we just want to all be on the same page so that we're speaking the same language for our families.
Mr. Reinhardt.
Thank you. And again, I just want to commend you for the incredibly valuable and valiant work that your office is doing on behalf of our international students, and especially the caring that you're showing for many students who are coming from very challenging situations, whether that's violence or their disrupted education. It's just wonderful that you're able to do that with such a small staff. To see that you've already helped 800 children this year with this many folks, plus 800 families. I apologize.
More children.
Yes, more kids. And the hundreds of additional families that have already come through the office that you offer continuing services for, it is incredible that you're doing it. And 18 bilingual facilitators through that many schools, what's the typical load for one of those bilingual facilitators?
Some of them, they have multiple schools, between 6 to 12, 14 schools. Some are assigned to only one school if the population is large, such as Annapolis High School, Glen Burnie High School, and some other schools that are ELL, with high enrollments too.
But they could have as many as 400 families that they're working with. Mm-hmm. Some more than that, 500.
One facilitator?
Yes. Sure. Because we only have 18 positions.
So then I need to echo what Mr. Gilliland said for our legislative breakfast coming up, because that's untenable to be able to work with that many families and to hear that we're going to have that many more.
I will tell you, the bilingual facilitators have been part of our office for years now. The IWC is a relatively new addition last spring, and I can tell you they are hardworking people. We are thrilled to have them part of our team. They just have come right on as members of the team. They have been very open to lots of suggestions because we did come on with changing lots of structures and putting new structures in place, and they have accepted the changes because they know that it was put in to make them more efficient, and they have really been very accepting of it, very positive. We can't say enough about their work ethic. Ms. Caribe, I might be on the phone with her at 8:30 at night, at 10 o'clock at night. She might be leaving a family's home at that time. She might be at a family's home at 5:30 in the morning, because to do a residency check, before we can actually get them into a school, because you may not have something from a landlord. So that could be, that means you have to go through the residence twice. So if they're working families and all, she has to go before they go to work. So she might be there at 5:30 in the morning. She might be there again at 8 o'clock at that same day. And just never says a word about it, is always there, is always then asking what else she can do for them. Just really, really the whole team. I can't say enough about it.
So just to understand, so you're saying that Ms. Caribe handles all of the home visits for
Yes.
all
For our office, yes.
Okay.
And in the summer, that just means she's just working nonstop.
I just want to echo what everybody says. It's just amazing work, wonderful. And I've said this before, and I'm going to put it out there. Dr. Arlotto, I want to schedule a visit to go. I'd love to have a visit where some board members can go and see them in action and check
They
it out.
really love people to come visit them.
I'm
so.
sure they'd love to have it. So we're going to get that on the calendar so we can come out and see
We
what you're doing.
appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate it. And thank you for staying for our late night tonight.